Alright, boys and girls, welcome back to the drive-through. Special shout out to Miss McFall. We got a road game today. I'm utilizing her room to make these videos. Let's go. Okay? Go ahead and pause the video here and read this situation. It's chain letter. So in these chain letters, it's kind of one of those ideas where each person gets the letter and passes it on to more people. And as you probably are starting to see, that makes things grow very fast. Okay? So what we're going to need to do is to kind of synthesize this information. We need to make another good chart. This is the day here. And this might be the number of letters that have been sent out. Okay, so as it says, it takes a day for the email to be opened, forwarded, and then received by the next person. So on day one, Bill sends it to 8 people. Okay, they each forward it to 10 people, so that on day 2, now 80 people have it. Those 80 people each forward it to 10 people. Okay? So on day 3, now 800 people get that letter on day 3. Okay? So we need to go to day 7, and now we can see the pattern. So it's going to be 8,000 people get it on day 4. 80,000 people get it on day 5. 800,000 people. And 8 million people. So just by day 7, 1 week later, if everyone does this, 8 million people will have gotten the letter on the 7th day. Alright, so let's go back to our chart here. And we had 1, 2, 3. We'll just start that. 8, 80, 800. How many people will receive the email on day N? Explain your answer with as many representations as possible. Well, what helps me is if I break this down into more patterns. So I can see that's 8 times 1. This is 8 times 10. And this is 8 times 100. Okay? So, I think if we just skipped the n and did a 4, this would be 8,000. And this would have been 8 times 1,000. So let's look at this number here, the 1, the 10, the 100, the 1,000. How does that relate to those? Well, 1 is equal to 10 to the 0, and 10 is equal to 10 to the first, and 100 is equal to 10 to the second. So notice, this is 8 times 10 to the 0, 8 times 10 to the first, 8 times 10 to the second. This is 8 times 10 to the third. This exponent is 1 less than that number. This exponent is 1 less than that number. This exponent is 1 less than that number. So on the nth day, it must be 8 times 10 to the n minus 1. Okay? The number of people getting the letter is equal to 8 times 10 to the n minus 1. That is hard stuff. Right now you're not expected to come up with that on your own, but I hope you understand the process we went through. So now that we have this, and that's really hard to get to, that's the whole point of algebra. Now we never have to make a chart like this again. We use the chart to get to the equation. So if Bill gives away a Super Bowl that costs $4.95 to every person that receives the email during the first week, how much will he have spent? Well, that's going to be 8 million people times $4.95, and that's going to be $39,600,000 worth of free ice cream. It's a lot of ice cream. Okay, now let me help you through with your homework. So we're going to go through and just do not all of your homework, but some of your practice, not homework, but some of your practice here together like we always do. So pause the video and read the instruction. Okay, so it wants us to take a look at the rate of change here. Notice the first one was 2, the second one was 5. Hopefully you see that each time it's going up by 3. So it says identify in the table where you see the rate of change, then draw on the graph this rate of change. Well, every time I go over 1 on the graph, I got to go up 3. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. Over 1, up 3. So here, look, it's going down 2 every time. Down 2, down 2, down 2. Every time I go over 1 on this graph to get back to the dot, I go down 2. Over 1, down 2. Over 1, down 2. Over 1, down 2. So hopefully you're seeing that connection between the graphical and the tabular or the table representation. Okay? You'll go back in and fill in the ones. Now it says below you're given various types of information. Write the recursive. As I'm getting more into this, I realize that the recursive is going to help you guys be better programmers. So let me help you with that, but stick with it. It's going to be a nice, important skill as you guys start to program stuff. Notice that, let's see, we got a first term, second term, third term, and fourth term. Our first term is a 2. Our second term is a 4, so about twice as high as that. Our third term is an 8, so twice as high as the previous one. And our fourth term is a 16, so twice as high as that one. So this is not linear. If you noticed, these were linear. They formed a line. They had a slope. Linear. Formed a line, had a slope. This is not linear. You can see that this is curving. It's not straight. Okay? Alright, so I think I still need to make a table here. And the first term is a 2, and the second term is a 4, and the third term is an 8. Well, that's 2 to the first, and this is 2 squared, and this is 2 cubed. Okay? So the explicit formula would be f of n. Well, let's see. It looks like this, if this is n there, it's just 2 to the n. So as things are geometrically getting bigger, so if you're multiplying something by the previous term, the n is usually going to be in the exponent, and then what the factor of multiplication was going to be some version out there. Okay? Now let's look at the recursive. F of 1 is equal to 2. We start with that. Okay? F of n, so the next f of n is equal to the previous term, n minus 1, times 2. Take whatever the previous term was and double it. Okay, that's how you write that. Okay, kind of tight quarters here. I'm sorry about that, so I'm going to do my work over here. Notice, they already gave us our table here. So the first term is a 3, the second term doubles, third term doubles that, fourth term doubles that, So again, we have a curve here. Okay? This is 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 4, 3 times 8. Right? Well, this would be 3 times 2 to the 0, 3 times 2 to the first, 3 times 2 squared, 3 times 2 cubed, 2 cubed. So now I can see the pattern. If we wanted n, it's going to be 3 times 2. Now look, this was the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one. And I want you to notice that this is one less, one less, one less, one less. So that is our explicit formula. F of n is 3 times 2 to the n minus 1. It's the hardest thing you're doing in this class right now. But I don't want you to be worried that it's difficult. That's the whole point. It's great. Okay? The recursive is let the first one, f of 1, is 3, and f of n, here, let me finish this recursive down here. F of 1 is 3. F of n, well, to find n, what do we do to the previous one? You take n minus 1 and you double it again. So notice that these two things have the same recursive formula. They just start at a different point. This one starts at 3, that one starts at 2. Okay, so these are dots. I don't know why they're giving us two. There's 6 dots there, and then there's 12 dots there, and there's 24 dots there. So hopefully you're getting good at imagining what this looks like. Once again, this is going to be a curve because it's doubling every time. Okay, so let's do the recursive first. I think that's becoming easier. F of 1 is 6. F of n is take whatever the last one was and double it. Okay, so this is the recursive. Alright, explicit. For here I got to go to my chart. The first term is 6, the second term is 12, and the third term is 24. This would be 2 times 3. This is 2 times 6. This is 2 times 12. Or let's see, this would be, let's do it in terms of 6s maybe. This would be 6 times 1, 6 times 2, 6 times 4. The next one would be 48. The fourth term would be 48, and that would be 6 times 8. Alright, so let's go back and do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 times 2 to the 0. 6 times 2 to the first. 6 times 2 squared. 6 times 2 cubed. So once again, this is going to be 6 times 2 to the n minus 1. Sorry, explicit. F of n equals 6 times 2 to the n minus 1. Okay, so maybe we can start to see the formula. This right here is what we start with, and 2, because it's doubling every time, and n minus 1 is becoming kind of a pattern of these. That should be it for the video. Hope you guys have a great day. Keep trying this stuff. It'll all work out fine. Good luck on your quiz. Boom!